Hi, 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 and welcome to Happy Minds, Wealthy Lives. And this is part 3 of the Joy Blueprint that I'm doing this week. So, ready? This is secret number 1. It's to stop riding the rotten roller coaster and start attracting abundance. You might want to write that down. Stop riding the rotten roller coaster and start attracting abundance. The big part is the last part. Start attracting abundance. So if you want to stop riding that rotten roller coaster, sorry, I'm making a little shift here. If you want to stop riding that rotten roller coaster and start attracting your abundance right now, but you have this little skeptic voice inside your head that says, what the hell are you saying? You can't do that. You know, I'm sure it's there. As soon as you say, I want to change, that voice pops up every single time. My glasses just look funny on here. I think my face was not made for glasses. So, I think an angel messed up. So let's talk about the first part first. Okay. The riding the rotten roller coaster. We've all been taught by society that we'll always be living in lack, in scarcity. We tend to always be reminded and always think in terms of black and white, that there's a finite amount of everything and that we're going to run out of it, that there isn't enough. And I want you to think differently. I want you to think about what it would be like to wake up in the morning and think about something different first. Actually, before we go there, I want you to think about when you wake up in the morning, what do you now think about in the first few minutes? Most of us, we wake up and we think, we got to rush around. We got to get that coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker, but other people I know are, and they got to get that coffee to get started because they don't have any energy. They wake up tired. They wake up in a lack of energy. And then they might think that, without even realizing it, that they grab their phone, they look at their phone and think, I didn't get enough sleep. Or, oh, look at that, my notes, I didn't do that last night. I don't have enough time to do it now. Maybe you're thinking, you go to get something to eat for breakfast. I need to go to the grocery shopping. What do I have for breakfast? Do I have anything for breakfast? I'll grab something on the way because I don't have anything. Or, maybe it's that you're thinking lots of thoughts about lack right off the bat. That's the whole point. Those are the first thoughts of the day. And I'm going to bet that if you think those things, if you think back to when you get irritable, or you get bitchy, or you get scared, or sad, or down, it's because you're having those kinds of thoughts. You're having those kinds of thoughts of lack, thoughts of scarcity, thoughts of something having to do with not being enough, not having enough. That's when you start to get irritable. So right now, I want you to think about the last time you got a little pissy or a little irritated or annoyed or sad. Just think about it. Go ahead. I'll wait. What thoughts were rolling around in your head? Chances are you were frustrated because you didn't have enough time. You were scared because you didn't have enough money. You were worried because you didn't have enough support. You were critical of yourself because you thought you weren't good enough. You didn't have enough. Didn't have enough talent. Or maybe you were feeling you weren't loved enough. You didn't receive the love you needed. There wasn't enough going to go around. Not enough support. Not enough appreciation. Not enough space on the road. So you cut off somebody or they cut you off. You feel like you didn't have enough time, or you were like, oh, you don't have enough time, so you're cutting in front of me? because you weren't getting enough support. You weren't getting enough appreciation. You weren't getting enough space on the road. You know, all that is scary to think about, that you're thinking about all those words, the word, you know, all this scarcity. It's scary. I mean, look at the two words, scary and scarcity. They go right together. And I'm not talking to you, Siri. Thinks I'm talking to him. You know, scarcity is the mind's experience of the limits that are a natural part of our physical reality. We are spiritual beings condensed into this physical body. As a spiritual being, we're used to taking a lot more space. As a physical body, we're not having so much. So we're crammed in here, and we start to think that there's all these limitations. And society has put these limitations on us. I want you to try something for me. Hold your breath. Just hold your breath. Now, for the first 30 seconds or so while I'm talking, you're going to feel like this is no big deal. Maybe the first 10 seconds, you're going to feel like this is no big deal. But as time goes on, parts of your body are going to start to get stressed. You're going to start to feel nervous. You're going to get uncomfortable. And it's all because you're panicking, because you're coming up against this perceived limit of there not being enough breath. By the way, go ahead and take a breath now if you need to. It's our fear that limits us. It's our fears about this limit that trigger our response. It's not the limit. You know, it's not really the limit. It's the fear of our limit. Our fear creates the limits. And then our fear of that limit triggers our response. So, I mean, you know, yes, as I was saying, there is a physical reality of the limit of time that you can hold your breath. There's a physical reality in your day regarding the amount of time. There's only 24 hours in a day. But you know what? You have the same 24 hours that everybody else does. So there's a current physical limit in your bank account. But our thoughts and our fears around the scarcity that's focused on that fear, the fear of the limit, the fear of the running out, the fear of not having enough, that's the real problem. That's the illusion. I mean, you can go deduct all your money out of the bank right now, and within seconds, you can take that money and put it right back in. So it's still there. But we focus on the scarcity. We focus on, I don't have enough. We focus on what might happen, what could happen. I have seen people with tons of money in the stock market worry constantly about the stock market collapsing. They only put $5,000 in to begin with, and now they've got, you know, 50 to 500,000, and they're worried about it. Well, there's only 5,000 of their money in the beginning. You know, I see the same thing on game shows. I love to watch game shows. And so many of them, they get so upset when they lose, even though they've already won $20,000, $30,000, $40,000. Then you can almost see this dejection in them, this, oh my gosh. It's like, you just won all this money. You came here with nothing. You came to the game show with, you know, whatever you came with. So anything you win's a bonus. It's just 30 minutes of your time. That's the way I always looked at game shows. But it wasn't on one, so what do I know? And I know people feel differently when you're on the show, so maybe that's it. But we all think we're going to run out of time, and we forget that abundance is everywhere. It is so, so prevalent in our lives. We forget to focus on the evidence that shows us how much we have, how supported we are, that we are enough, that there's always enough. And one of the things that Mike Dooley is a guy that one of the people I follow, and he wrote the book Infinite Possibilities, and I'm certified in teaching that program, Infinite Possibilities, and that's where this is all leading. He teaches that we're not just here to survive. In fact, most of the people that I have followed teach that we're not just here to survive. That survival is not the default setting. Excuse me. Our default setting is to thrive. to grow, to expand. You know, the universe is ever expanding. We know that. Science tells us that. But you know what? We are part of the universe. We are the universe. It's inside of us. We have the same DNA. So we are meant to expand so that the universe can expand. If we don't expand, the universe can't expand. We are not here to be tested like so many of us were taught. We are not here to be judged or to be sentenced to struggle. We didn't come here to be small. We didn't come here to barely make it, to eke through life, excuse me, to scrape by or to be in pain. We are here to grow, to love, to succeed. You are a sacred being. You are significant. And the evidence of that surrounds you, even if you choose not to see it. It's there. And if you choose to look at it that way and see it, you will see that abundance is thriving and it is everywhere. When you walk outside, walk around your neighborhood, you'll see the evidence that abundance is everywhere. You'll see the leaves on the trees, the grass on the ground. It may be brown right now, but the grass on the ground. You'll see the petals on flowers possibly. Maybe raindrops. Maybe grains of sand. Maybe acorns on the ground. I actually stop whenever I walk and pick up some of the acorns out of my driveway from the tree across the street so I can take them to the squirrels. You'll see that there are more times that you're smiling than you're crying if you pay attention. You'll see more love than you see hate. When you'll see that you have friends, that you're not alone. You'll see more things go right than they go wrong if you focus on those things. But we tend to focus on the moments that we cry, the moments we're angry, the moments when things go wrong, the moments we feel lonely, the brown blades of grass instead of the green, the leaves falling in our yard instead of on the trees. We forget to activate abundance and the true prosperity of the world. We forget to trust that what you need is coming and all the wonderful things that are around us. Wayne Dyer said, abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into. Let me repeat that. Wayne Dyer said, abundance is not something we acquire. It is something we tune into. So in those moments when you're feeling lack, acknowledge the feeling. I mean, it's simply a feeling. Acknowledge it. Ask yourself, what is my body feeling? What are the sensations that my body's feeling? Try not to label it as an emotion. Instead, what sensations am I feeling in my body? Is it a tightness in the chest, a tightness in the throat? Your hip hurting, your back hurting, getting a headache? Because once you start to notice those things, you can start to notice the feelings coming on and you can clear them faster. So acknowledge that there's some physical reality that has a limit and you're fearing that limit. And then switch your lens to remind yourself, activate abundance, activate abundance, activate abundance. So when you're starting to feel all those sensations, remember the times that you did have enough. Remember the times when you were supported, times when you were happy, times when things worked out, times when you thought something was going to be bad and it turned out to be great. Times when you went through a bad time, but a blessing came out of it, that miracle. Remember seeing the silver lining behind that dark cloud. Remember the miracle. And what would you do if you trusted more? If you felt less fear, if you were not focused on the lack of energy, the lack of money, the lack of support, the lack of time, what would you do if you felt more powerful and more confident? What risks would you take? That's what happens when you stop riding that rotten roller coaster and you start activating the energetic flow of abundance. Joel Osteen says, fear and faith have something in common. They both ask us to believe in something we can't yet see. So choose faith. You can't see the fear. You can't see the faith. You get to choose. Choose faith. What would you choose? I choose faith. Every day. I choose to believe that miracles happen for me every day. I choose to believe that everything is a miracle. Because either everything is a miracle, as Einstein said, everything's a miracle, or nothing's a miracle. I choose to believe everything is. Because you can decide that right now, today. Choose. So I've learned that the real question about scarcity is asking, what the real question scarcity is asking is not, do you have enough? But instead, it's chasing us to ask, what's really important to me? So are you using the limited energy of your life to create your dreams or to fill the lack? Breathe and ask, what's the most important thing to me? What is the most important thing to me? Am I doing and using what I have for what really matters? What matters to me? Am I using my money for what matters? Am I using my energy for what matters? Am I using my life for what matters to me? So take a look at scarcity and begin to ask how you're spending your time. Because there's more energy, and that brings more abundance into your life. And that brings me to the end of secret number 1. So I hope you're having a lovely Wednesday. Continue to have a great Wednesday, and I will see you Thursday. Bye-bye.